Nice new helmet, Carrion. Jesus Christ, did you buy that from a party store called the Viking Experience? He looks like Shredder after his wife took everything in the divorce. He looks like the loneliest Roman at the orgy. He looks like someone going to Carnival dressed as Demolition. Looking forward to seeing the next step in the journey of history's most maligned man. Maybe he'll come out on Raw, fall over onto his bum, then his eyes will cross and he'll say, "Oh no, my bum, I fell on my big scary bum." Then he'll stand up and he'll fall on his bum again. He'll say, "Oh no, I fell on my bum again." TikTok. Point is, they went for serious and created something incredibly funny. So funny that you start to cry and cry, which got us thinking about other times that wrestling went for super serious, but went all the way out the other side. I'm Adam, hailing from PartsFUNknown, and here are the top 15 unintentionally funny wrestling moments. What's your favorite stupid wrestling thing that was supposed to not make you laugh, but really made you laugh? Tell us about it in the comments, and we'll talk back sometimes, probably. And also subscribe to PartsFUNknown. Do it! Do it, or Laurie will kill you. Sold. Number 15, Hulk the gay guy. Oh, Hulk Hogan is no stranger to the odd gaff on the mic, is he? Most notably when the cameras aren't rolling. But even when they are, he's prone to jam his foot in his mouth. There's the infamous Superdome blunder that actually turned out being surprisingly sweet. And then there's this, a super serious promo on SmackDown between him and Vince leading to their match at Mania 19, where Hogan was supposed to say, "Do you really think that I was just the right guy in the right place at the right time?" But he messes it up over and over again, including saying, "Do you really think I was just the right gay guy?" All as Vince just looks at him thinking, what the f*** is this old sofa saying? Number 14, Kaz and Christian fight for the clipboard. Oh, this is a joy. So there are more unintentionally funny moments in TNA's history than you can shake a Scott Steiner branded calculator at. The attempt at rekindling the Monday Night Wars, the Shelly Martinez suicide dive, the match where the Ultimate X kept falling off. But this is the one that really kills me. At Genesis 2007, Christian Cage fought Kaz in a ladder match. Instead of a belt over the ring, though, there was a clipboard with a contract on it for a TNA title match. During the match, the contract falls off the clipboard, and instead of both men rushing to grab it and win, instead the match becomes who can be the first man to climb the ladder and retrieve an empty clipboard. Like, the contracts, it's right. Why would you give a shit about a clipboard? Spent a lot of money at Paper Chase, I guess. Number 13, that's got to be Kane. Oh, Todd Grisham, you silly sausage. There have been a lot of iconic calls about the big red machine. That's gotta be Kane. Through hellfire and brimstone, by gum, look at that weird clown shelf on the back of his head. But by far the funniest came on an episode of Raw in 2009. It was the annual draft / superstar shakeup / wildcard rule / who cares anymore. And there was a drum roll, a graphic of all the potential superstars yet to be picked, the anticipation building, and then the impression can't do it justice. Let's just play the clip. That's the sound of credibility being shot in the head, and the call that launched 1,000 people wiping coffee off their monitors. Before we get on with the rest of the episode, I'd just like to say a huge thank you to this episode's sponsor, Warpath. Warpath is a free-to-play wartime strategy game for mobile, set in an alternate version of World War II, where you can send wave after wave of your own men into battle with a mere fingertip. You are a god, you've become life and death, you are the end and the beginning. It's totally free on both Google Play and the App Store, meaning you can experience the real modern war on your phone anytime, anywhere. I've always loved wartime strategy games when I was a kid, and having one in my pocket is fantastic, especially as Warpath faithfully restores all the historical weaponry from small guns, warplanes, to even having period-accurate tank model numbers. I'm a history nerd. Upgrade your barracks, complete daring missions, defeat the dastardly forces of Raven, train your troops, earn rewards, and claim dominion over the very skies themselves. Dominate the skies, win the war. Because with Warpath's most recent update, the game has added in 42 new fighter and bomber units to unlock, so you can get a realistic experience of modern Air Force warfare, which take the battlefield from 2 dimensions to 3, up where the air is clear, up in the atmosphere, meaning your strategies get more audacious and the action gets even more unpredictable. Also, Jean-Claude Van Damme is now an unlockable character in the game, who brings with him exclusive commanders, aircraft units, and muscles imported from Brussels. But remember, he works for you in Warpath. You are in command now. Click the link in the video description below to download the game now and use the code AIRFORCE2021 to instantly get props worth $10. Use these supplies to build your base, upgrade your firepower, and turn the tide. And remember, by supporting our sponsors, every install is a huge help to us here at PartsFUNknown. And also, the game's really fun, so hey that too. Download Warpath today, dominate the sky, win the war. Number 12, half the brain that you do. If you took a look inside the brain of Sid, you would see the Prodigy Smack My Bitch Up video, but with all the people replaced with Muppets. He is the perfect cocktail of intensely intimidating violence and also having a child's brain. Nothing aims so high and falls further short than a Sid promo. They are meant to be omens of doom from a mighty warlord, but instead sound like a drunk man trying to sell you his shoes at a bus stop. We're live, pal, standing on his car shouting Goldberg, but his masterpiece is him trying to cuss out Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, telling them that they're half the man that Sid is, but also that Sid has half the brain that they do. It is amazing, made all the better by the fact that Nash is wearing a Sid mask and pissing himself, so it actually looks like the two halves of Sid's brain are fighting. Number 11, haunted tractor bullshit. I think it's important to point out that yes, The Fiend deserved more. Yes, Bray Wyatt is one of the greatest minds of his generation, and yes, we miss him, but circa 2017, pretty much everyone was like, oh, off Bray Wyatt. Not his fault necessarily, but more because WWE had him doing stuff like the House of Horrors match, which is a heartbreaking attempt at spookums that turned piss pants funny once you got to the silly tractor that drove itself, Randy being pinned by a dirty fridge, or the doll head room that suggested Bray was just sitting there for hours with a needle, some thread and a Barbie shipment, Netflix on in the background, working his way thinking, ooh, this'll boo Randy up good. Number 10, we're live, you idiot. Say what you want about CM Punk, but the man's calm under pressure. On the July 7th episode of Raw 2008, the Second City Saint was the current world heavyweight champion. Remember that title run? Bollocks nothing. The other clear as day. We're live, you idiot. Beautiful. I like to think of it as a Chuckle Brothers crossover episode. To me, to you. Number 9, Genesis of McGillicuddy. Genuinely, he couldn't have written a funnier promo if he tried. Before he became the charismatic dynamo that was Curtis Axel, Paul Heyman guy, lest any of you forget, before Axelmania, before the chains were off, before ye, he was known as Michael McGillicuddy, because sure, why would you want to make the connection that he's Mr. Perfect's kid? Back in NXT, McGillicuddy cut a series of terrible promos, but the best by far is the one he gave after losing season 2 to Caval, where he got his heat back by talking about how it was his time. And I quote, and starting this moment, from this moment on, this will be the moment, starting now, of the genesis of McGillicuddy. Giant steaming poetry. Number 8, anal bleeding. One of the first rules of dialogue is that you should never hear the author through the characters when they speak. During this promo, you can hear Vince McMahon louder than Michael Cole can through his headset. What a big smile Vince must have had on his face. It was the September 26th episode of Raw in 2011, the week after Jerry Lawler was attacked by Mark Henry and driven through the commentary table. Cole gave a medical update on the King, saying he was suffering from bruised ribs, and then he said, staring directly down the lens, anal bleeding. We hear you, Vince. We hear you. As the moment's made even funnier by Booker T saying, what? And JR just turning his head away thinking, this fucking company. Number 7, the Dungeon of Doom. Just all of it. The whole thing. The WCW stable specifically created to, in kayfabe, kill Hulkamania, but in real life to give all of Hogan's mates some jobs, was cartoon horse from the off, and it's all so funny. From the Yeti, to the Zodiac, to the Shark, to the Sumo Monster Trucks, all the way to Hogan's first time in the dungeon with the kind of killer Birdemic quality storyline like, there's no Hulkamaniacs here, testing some water and shouting, ah, it's not hot, to the Giant's big stupid laugh. Oh, it's endlessly wonderful. The Ed Wood gift that keeps on giving. Number 6, the Universal title reveal. I was there. I was in the crowd. I laughed as much as anyone did when Stephanie and Mickles, with proud parents' smiles on their faces, revealed what they thought was going to be the coolest belt WWE had ever made, and they revealed this goddamn cherry abomination, this rotten cow's tongue, this melted red vine on a desert road, sunburned bollocks all the way down, and a belt so hilariously ugly, it broke SummerSlam. Genuinely, our belt is called the Championship, and it doesn't have as much jam on it as this infamous monster. Number 5, barbed wire exploding death match. Everyone's gone through the 7 stages of grief about this match, haven't they? The anger, the bargaining, the actually it was supposed to be that way because Kenny's a heel delusion, and now, many months later, it's just really funny. Omega versus Moxley, a barbed wire exploding ring death match, hyped as a match where people could legit die, ending with a terrifying countdown, air raid siren straight out of Silent Hill, the threat that holy Mox is going to be blown up. Eddie Kingston rushing in to make the most redemptive act of friendship. And then the kind of fireworks display that would be crushingly disappointing at a 6th birthday party. The dribbling sparklers, the little pow-pows, the fact that commentary and Kingston sold it. Looking back, it's so wonderful. And I'm so sorry. Number 4, Retribution. What more can we say? What more can we say about the faction that debuted looking like a primary school production of the IRA and then eventually digivolved into a primary school production of Mad Max, replete with masks that would look low rent in a Plymouth sex club, and names that at their best are straight out of Streets of Rage, and at worst sound like bad improv at the hardware store comedy night. Nothing more can be said, only how we reacted at the time. Bake 'em away, toys.
T-Bar, Mace, and Slapjack. Pete, his name is Slapjack. That's his name. That's his. It's coming to the ring. Mega Oof.
Oh god.
So these dorks now have names. We haven't even talked about the masks. Like, we haven't even got to the masks yet. The smaller masks that were underneath their main masks.
Yep, these dorks indeed. Number 3, Titus World Slide. It's a wrestling moment that brought the entire world together in accidental joy, so much so that my reptilian brain has started to suspect it was actually planned. Surely nothing in the world can exist so pure as Titus running down to the ring, tripping on precisely nothing, and disappearing under the ring. You poor, wonderful man. Not only is it funny as balls, but it's genuinely heartwarming to hear Michael Cole happy. When do you think was the last time he was actually happy watching wrestling? Must be f***ing years. Titus O'Neil is a gift of a human, and I'd let him kiss me on the lips. Number 2, the Shockmaster. If Titus World Slide is the greatest trip in WWE history, this is the greatest in the history of all wrestling. The patron saint of botches, the one true king of things that's supposed to be serious but end up leaving you laughing so hard you can't breathe. At Clash of the Champions 24, during a Flair for the Gold segment, which was already a train wreck because it had Sid in it, shouting at everyone to stop talking while he's talking, Bulldog and Sting introduced their partner for War Games, none other than the Shark Master, aka Tugboat wearing a Stormtrooper helmet covered in glitter, talking like Dr. Claw, which is, from a baseline, shit. Like, it's already shit. His head looked like a bath bomb, for God's sake. But before carrying on with the promo, with every single second he keeps talking, making it funnier and funnier. And number 1, McMahon's $1 Million Mania, aka what happens when you buy a mobile phone for your nan. It's so relentlessly wonderful and sad and gut-burstingly funny. In the face of spiraling ratings in 2008, Vince happened upon a cunning little scheme to force people to watch the show. Vince would come out at some point during Raw, phone a random American thicko, and if they gave the password shared at the beginning of the night, they won some money. The only problem was Vince had to operate the tech. And oh man, we got to see Vince be a human being for the first time, reading glasses on, staring at a phone like it's a head crab. He dialed beautiful disaster, and they pulled the plug on the idea in the funniest way they could, with the set collapsing on Vince, who was carted away screaming, "I can't feel my legs." Beautiful. And that's our list. What's your favorite unintentionally funny moment in wrestling history? Let us know in the comments. I think it's going to be a good comment section this time. And don't forget to like and share this video around if you enjoyed it, and make sure you subscribe to PartsFUNknown for more silly wrestling content. Jam that jam.